I said to them that when you come to South Africa, come with your perceptions that you have, but be open as well to see what you're going to see. Because with the perceptions that you're having, there is another side to Africa that isn't being shown in the televisions that you guys watch, you know, which is the more beautiful side in Africa. When you come to Leap, though, we expect you to engage with us, as Valerie and Justin and Kyle did, and be able to just connect in a real level, where we just sit and talk. I think Valerie by now knows the power of the circle, where we sit and just talk about our feelings and where we are at in life.
The gift isn't something you bring, the gift is you in Africa. And you give yourself, not. And so that openness and honesty is part of our mantra, part of our code of conduct. And it's very difficult to hold to that. It's not a mantra that we expect of our children to hold. It's a mantra that Tuxi and I and Jamil as teachers, we hold to. And so as we travel now, we have to hold that code of conduct in our lives and in our engagements. And there is no authority that supersedes values. We've kind of lost it a bit. If I could just make a comment about where we were in 1994 and the hope that we had with Nelson Mandela released. And now we stood in the queues for so many hours. And we celebrated as we said. But where we are in 2009, we have to say we missed the opportunity. We're not a rainbow nation, we live in black and white. The rainbow lies ahead of us. And the only way we're going to achieve it is to really work honestly with that. But you guys stand on the threshold. You've had a lot of celebrations in the last few weeks. And those celebrations will come to nothing if there's not personal change and personal transformation. And if you young people don't find your voices, and if you don't speak out about the things that hurt you, and if you don't actually speak out about the things that marginalize you, in 8 years' time you will be saying we missed the opportunity. And that would be very sad, because the world is hopeful. And we in South Africa are really, really hopeful. That's Obama will shift things for the world, not just for America. And that's too much for one man to carry, we know. But if we can get behind and change ourselves, and get strong in our own identities, and claim the heritage that is yours and mine, then the hope will build into social change. But it's got to begin with us, not with him. And we miss that.
I'd like to say that I'm Helen Randall. I'm so impressed with the fact that you speak English so well, so fluently. And I'm wondering how will I ever learn any other language besides the English language. I wished I had the ability to do that. But in talking with some of you, I want you to know that your problems are no different from the problems that we have here. We're still working on those problems, and as student teachers, you're going to be excellent teachers. I can see that because you're so sincere about your job. All of you I talk to, you're really concerned about the kids, and that's what's so important and related to parents. And I think a couple of you talked about how we well, let's say those of us who have made it, we think, you know, I don't know what made it is anymore, that we do forget that from where we came, that we need to go back, get into our communities, and I think Obama has really emphasized that, he and Michelle. I'm so happy to see that happen. I've always been involved in my community. And I think that there's a difference in service and being able for me to write a check to you and hand it to you. The check is important, but the service is forever. We really need to do that. I really appreciate you, and I enjoyed it all. And I'd like to thank the hostess, everybody who did this. I don't know how you put it together. It's wonderful, but knowing your mama, I knew, and I have to give you a little history. When she called me, I'm like, well, now, last time I went to Frankfurt, my husband we used to park our trailer out here because we couldn't keep it in the time we had. We had to pay to put it out here. The place has grown up so much that my husband drove me out this morning because he didn't want me to get lost. I still got lost and never found the house. So I said to him, you know what, because Mrs. Tillman said she was going at 5 o'clock and you all were going to be here at 7:30. I said, but you know what? It's no way I'm going to let her down. So I'm going to go to her house, leave my car, and I'm going to ride with her there because I will never disappoint her. I am so happy that I came.
I got a question. How many languages do you speak?
Excuse me.
Hello. Yes. I hear.
Most of us in the
Okay,
can
come
only
on.
speak 3 languages, which is Xhosa, our home languages, our home
Okay.
language, and English and Zulu. But
Okay.
in South Africa we have 11 languages, official
Yeah.
languages. So, but the common ones are the
Okay.
mentioned.
All right.
There are people in South Africa who speak 6 or 7 different languages. Most Central Africans can speak at least 5 languages. That's not something that's understood about Africa. Mastery of, linguistic mastery.
Could you guys sing your national anthem?
Yeah, we can do that at the end once we've taken all the questions. I think we'll do it. Plans, do it right now.
Can you share some of your experiences what you feel about being here in the U.S.?
In
In the US,
Yes.
what are we experiencing?
For me, the USA, I was struck by the buildings, the beautifulness, but for me that is not one thing, which is what I can draw a conclusion into, but for me what I love the most is the people, because each and every home, and each and every people that are hosting us, I feel the warmth, I feel the belonging. So for me the people of USA are fascinating more than the buildings and the beautiness of USA, but the beautiness here is the humanity.
Yeah, I was surprised when I got here because I always see on television like it feels like black are dominating. But when I got here, I noticed that no, in fact, white have got all the privileges. But on television, it doesn't show that like there's this inequality that is between the blacks and whites here.
I'm concerned about the young people that we've met. They seem to struggle to express feelings. They can say what they're thinking quite easily, but they can't say what they're feeling. And we work very hard in our school at the intuitive mind rather than at the rational mind. And one of the lines that Zonke read was, they came with their intellect and they crushed our feelings. And I think we still live with that Western horror, really. That when you are feeling something, you have to rationalize the feeling so that the feeling is regarded as not legitimate. And I think that brings the silence. And 1 or 2 of our students have said some of the young American voices talk a lot, but there's a silence underneath the words. And we think we have a gift to share in that from Africa, in that we are comfortable with each other, with the diversity that we have in this group and with the diversity we have in our schools. We're comfortable confronting the issues that are most difficult so that we can begin to lay the ghosts to rest. But it's a process, it's a lifelong process for us. And the thought that we had that maybe one could do it in a single process of truth and reconciliation, that was the naivety. It's lifelong. For me, I need to declare myself until I die. One can't walk away from the reality of the past. I don't have to feel shame. I simply have to declare it so that we can connect. And nothing is hidden. There seem to be so many secrets that children have to hide. And we know that from our own townships. And it's been a surprise to find that it feels the same as a teacher. It feels that young people want to engage at a surface level. The minute you push beyond that, they want to run. And technology doesn't help us, as we know, because it's such an easy escape to look to technology to take feelings away.
You know, I have